Hello everyone, it's Cheryl Millett here, live at 5, and just a few more things that kind of popped in this morning. I'm just going to wish everybody hello. I probably, as you'll know, I just kind of get into things. I know it's times we can wait around and see who else comes on board, and at times for some of these videos, people are waiting as much as 15 minutes for people to come on board, and I get it when it is probably 2 hours, a 2-hour video, 2.5 hours, 3-hour videos that we can, and I can wait for people to come on. But I think 5 o'clock might be one of those times where people are in, they're on their way to work, they're coming home to work, whatever it is. So it can be, for the most people, probably to watch it later. But what do I mean by some things when I say I try to have a little bit of fun with how I put it on here? And that's that. So follow. So I thought follow was interesting because there is, and I know I've already talked about this, be you, but I actually wanted to expand on follow a little bit more as to some of the things that are out there, as in Facebook. Now, it's not about making connections. Well, it is about making connections, but you're following. So I see that, I was kind of, that's the term they use. We could use connect, connect with this person, connect, and there is some of that language there. But language, I think, is very important. So follow this person, follow this, follow that. And so the word follow is in many different areas other than just, you're following them. And we're following things, and we're following up on things, things we like, things that we, want to follow. So that's all I wanted to kind of say on follow again, because I've already spoken to follow, which is don't follow anyone. Okay, Facebook, they call it follow. So you're going to connect with various people here. But the idea here is you don't need to follow anyone. You be yourself. You be you. You decide. You make your choices. Sure, you can pick up information from people because you're going to be watching the various things or reading the various books, but it's not in line with following. They know better for you. No, you are the only one who knows better for you. That's it. Most of you know by now that nature, natural, is an important thing for me, and for me to stay true with and to work with. And that to me means simplistic, and it also means not necessarily right or wrong or perfect. It could be what is for you, and it's about not knowing what's the best thing for you. You're going to know that. So when I say in line with natural, nature, inner nature, all of that, that gives us to the nano comment that I made there, the nano word, the word nano. And right from the get-go, when nanotechnology came out, so I'm going to talk to it in that way, something didn't seem right to me. It just didn't seem natural. So I've never been on board with nanotechnology. And I'm mindful of the body and how it works and how we don't know it works. But in nature, if food was nano, it would be a different story. I mean, just the way food in its natural state is not nano. I've always been hesitant, or at least I will continue to do research and be open to learning what I can about it. But when they say, cellular, it gets, cellular function, helps the cellular level, the thing I have to ask is this nanotechnology? And when they say yes, I go, well, thank you. I'm not interested in nanotechnology. Partially is because the body has, yes, all these cells, and at a cellular level, it's almost to me is the cell is a sanctuary within our body. Each and every cell in our body is, to think of it as, how I'll express it, as a sanctuary, which is, it will only allow things in nature, natural, whatever, to come in the body, to go into the cell. It chooses, and it'll choose what needs to come out of the cell, but it'll choose what it needs to keep out, it'll choose what it needs to come in, it'll choose what it needs to let out and what it needs to keep in. I'm just keeping it simple in the way of working with people because there's so much to do naturally and in nature that this is just another element. And I don't want to say it's another gimmick. I don't want to say that, I mean, I guess I just said that, didn't I? I don't want to say it's all part of the health industry to make money and to help people. But I was looking at something earlier, which is this particular, I'm not going to say what it is. And basically, I've heard about it for a number of years, and I'm very particular as far as reading and understanding how things work. And when they say at a cellular level, when they say nanotechnology, I just don't go near it. I don't go near it. And that's what happened with the product today. That's why it kind of came to me. You know, I don't think I've ever spoken about nanotechnology. Now that's me. For you, you may like the idea of things crossing the cellular barrier and getting into the cell. So what happens if the cells don't want that much? What happens if the cells don't want it at all? When we think of detoxing in the body, it's because we allow our system to do it naturally, or we force it. And when we force it to do cleansing, let's say, it's a little onerous sometimes, and actually can be, you know, cleanse side effects and things like that, uncomfortable symptoms, and if done too fast, too quickly, too much, then there can be a whole host of uncomfortable things that happen, including vomiting. Now, I know this because I've been working with cleansing systems for 15 years. It's probably the easiest way to say it. Yeah, 15 years. Really, I really wanted to kind of bring it up more than ever because there are some very good people that a lot of people will follow, and that a lot of people are getting their messages. And this one particular product was, and it actually was by another person who I've been listening to, and they seem to have this event tied up with a lot of information, but they were also promoting this particular product, and it being nanotechnology. And I don't know if they think like I think. I have no idea. They question like I do. I have no idea. And at the end of the day, most people are, again, for the good, you know, for they just go, what, you know, we want to help people, and we want to help people the best we can, and this is something that comes across, and they feel they'd rather help people, absolutely, and that's strong, very, very strong. But I just, you know, I'm just cautionary. I'm saying I'm just cautionary. You be where you want to be with nanotechnology, but I'm very caution-oriented and safety-oriented, and as I said earlier, thinking about natural things, and in nature we don't have that. Usually, typically, nanotechnology is created, but I could be wrong. There may be certain things that are not, because I don't want to paint anything black and white here. But from what I understand, for all the different products that I've learned about, it's not. So there's usually something about it that is chemistry or something like that. And maybe they do and they don't know it's nano. I mean, they might say it's nanotechnology, but maybe there isn't enough research to even say that it goes in the cell. So in that respect, maybe that particular thing, even though it's nanotechnology, but nano, usually it has to do with size. And size is something that I guess nanoparticles are known to cross the cellular barrier. And there's a few things that I could probably speak to. I'm going to only speak to one right now because it actually can be related to this nanotechnology crossing the cellular barrier in this case, but is cholesterol meds. So cholesterol medications or anything, even toxicity that crosses the blood-brain barrier is can also be something we should think about seriously. Does it cross the blood-brain barrier. Now, the reason why I say cholesterol is an issue is because cholesterol molecules are very, let's say very large, but let's say larger than to cross the blood-brain barrier. Now, we're talking about the brain. So as we know, the brain, it's a very important organ in the body. In fact, it runs the body, if we think physically. And this is not talking about the mind. We know how the mind definitely interacts, but just the brain in itself. It consumes 40% of the nutrients that come into our body. That would include the oxygen, that would include water, that would include the nutrition part, and the amount of blood that goes through to the brain for its needs, right? So it is an important organ. I need not say any more. When it comes to cholesterol meds, in earlier research, probably 10 or so years ago, the idea is the cholesterol meds, I'll step back, the cholesterol itself is produced in the brain. Cholesterol is produced in the liver. Cholesterol is produced because it is a very, very valuable nutrient that we need, or molecule that we need. In fact, we need that to actually produce vitamin D. Lower your cholesterol and you would be affecting how much vitamin D. Now, maybe the body goes, hey, we'll put our cholesterol towards managing the vitamin D, or we'll put our cholesterol into managing splitting of the arteries. Either way, cholesterol is an important molecule in our body, and our body will produce, our liver will produce most of it, but when it comes to the blood-brain barrier, that barrier, it's too large to cross. This is my understanding, and so the brain has to produce its own cholesterol, but the cholesterol medications doesn't say, hey, I'm not going to go into the brain, it produces its own cholesterol, it doesn't come out, but the cholesterol is affected by the medicine to lower in the brain. This is one of the key things about to understand about increased cancer from taking cholesterol medications. Now, I'm not going to go into it too deeply, but I want to say that's not a good thing. So where medicines pass certain barriers, that can be a problem. In the case of affecting the brain and lowering cholesterol in the brain, that's a huge problem. You can look it up and just be more educated and learn about it. I think about cellular barrier and the membrane, and for what each and every cell is in our body, in a sense, is it holds information, it holds the healing potential, it holds the building of certain proteins, it holds the blueprint for the building of those proteins, call it the DNA, and more, and it houses the furnace, which is producing our energy, the mitochondria. So there's a lot at a cellular function the cell does. But why do you think it has a cell membrane? Because it probably has to keep things out. It is a package unto itself to protect itself. The cell membrane has a key purpose. Any membrane has a key purpose. If we didn't have skin, which is our outer membrane for our whole physical body, we'd be so susceptible to infection. And that's when anything happens with the skin, any opening, any sore, anything like that, it can be susceptible to infection. So here we go. We have the importance of cellular membranes, brain membrane, the skin membrane, and this is, can't go on and on. I'm trying to think if there's any other things. But I caution myself. I'm not going towards nanotechnology, and haven't since the day I heard about it, for this reason. I have studied cellular function, but cellular membranes and how important they are. I'm going to give you the 4 important functions of it, and if I can, I just want to read a paragraph off of this book. It's called Healing is Voltage. Great book. I was recommended by doctors to read it because I was presenting, and there was a doctor in the audience, and he said, boy, Cheryl, for all that you do, have you read this book? Maybe thinking that some of the information that I was sharing had to do with this book. But no, No, it didn't, but I got the book, and it was completely awesome book. But it goes a little bit into voltage and pH and stuff like that. I'm going to try and find where that page is. I would think that I have it marked by now, but if I don't, I know it's in my presentations. I kind of have a general. Here it is. I don't have it ear tagged here, but I do have it generally, so I probably turned to it most. I'm going to read this here. So we're just going to go in and we're going to learn about the cell membrane, because it's to me, it's one of the most important things in our body. And this gets down to the importance of fats, actually. Remember, your skin, it would be cardboard and dry up as dust, as we can just imagine, if we did not have the fats. Our brain is mostly fat, and that would be the same thing. There'd probably be shrinkage in there and inflammation in there in the brain if we did not have the healthy fats. Well, the cell membrane is also dependent upon mostly particular fatty acids, essential fatty acids, let's just say. The very first chapter in here goes into omega-3, which is probably half of the lectures I do is going to be on omega-3 for its importance, because researchers say that that's the key reason, the imbalance of the essential omegas. To me, I will expand on that and say the unhealthy omegas cause a lot of issues, and also the deficiency of these key essential nutrients. So you have three things: the balance between the two key essential, omega-3 and omega-6, and you have the deficiency of not getting enough, and you have the getting of too much unhealthy essential omegas. Okay, let me read this phrase here that he comes up with. So he is talking about the cellular membrane, and this is kind of summing it up as to the importance of what it does. And there's going to be some terminology here, and I'll clarify it as I go to read it. I will speak to it. When I read it, it'll remind me what it says here, and I'll translate it if need be. So now we see that the cell membrane is the brain of the cell. It is a capacitor that stores voltage for the cell to use. It is a microprocessor that controls the function of the cell by interacting with the environment around the cell. It is a liquid crystal that can open and close to allow things to enter the cell or to keep them out, and also to allow things to exit the cell or keep them in. It is part of a Tesla resonating circuit that allows it to communicate with other cells. And I will unpack that right now for you. Some of you probably get it 100%, while others may go, what did she just say? Some things probably would care, but that's okay. At the end of the day, there's not enough time here to kind of go through, but the book is great. So when we say the cell membrane is a capacitor, stores voltage. So let's understand that energy, everything is energy, and the cell membrane would be a capacitor. The capacitor itself, it stores energy in its cell membrane. This is particularly helpful for healing. So if you can imagine a certain pH in the body, a certain state in a balanced, I'll say normal for whatever word, a balanced normal state, it would be resonating a certain thing. But when you need to heal, when something happens and there's healing or a new cell or something like that, there's an additional energy that is required, especially for healing. So this stored voltage would be used for the healing, the necessary healing. And then when it says a microprocessor, just think more computers, right? It's a micro level, it's processing things, and therefore it is interacting with its environment. So similar to, how can I say it? Similar to us, a bunch of people. The space between us isn't empty. And when it comes to the body, the space between the cells is not empty. Okay, there's things in it there, and so there's going to be interaction with the things that are around the cell. An environment, and we've talked about environment. Everything makes a difference in environment. So in this case, there's an environment outside the cells, but there's also an environment inside the cell, which is why I don't particularly like nanotechnology getting into the cells. So but it's also a liquid crystal. So think of crystals. You just really call them rocks. We've called them crystals because of the beauty, but they're really rocks, but it's crystalline form. And our cell membranes can actually be thought of crystals as well, in a sense that it's a liquid crystal. So it will open and close pathways, channels, anything like that, as things need to come in. And and then the other one is the Tesla resonating circuit, which is where it is communicating. Think of communication signals, those kind of things between cells. So if a part of the body hurts, then this part of the body is going to communicate that it hurts, and this is how it resonates up into the brain, and just how quickly that can be. And so that function is very important and well. So, but that's kind of like the 4 areas that would be considered importance around the cell membrane. But there may be things around nanotechnology that, okay, well, the body doesn't have the energy to bring it in, and when it's smaller, it can bring it in, and it's accepting of that. I would prefer that things actually get broken down as we do in the digestive system, and things break down and then they get passed through the digestive tract, through that membrane, I guess you could say, and when it passes through, it gets reassembled. So that's the important thing to note, that even in our digestive system, that if things go in the way they go in, if the body recognizes it, it will take it apart, unassemble it, and then it will be able to go through the villi, the microvilli, the villi, and it'll be absorbed into the fluids, into the blood, and then reassembled again on the other side. So that's a very tricky membrane, and the system in the body, and the miracle it is to take that and to use that. So if the body doesn't recognize it as something we need, and I'm not going into leaky gut here, but if it doesn't recognize it, it will be moved along and be part of the elimination. And that's why it's important to drink enough fluids, because fluids are very important in the elimination through the digestive tract. So that's where I'm going to go with that today. So that's why I don't know, I said nana for the fun of it, no nano, because the words are very quite similar. That's really all I put. There's nothing there having to do with nana. I think I saw the word nana recently as a reference to somebody's nana, and so that's why I think I know a Nana too. That's her nickname. So if Nana's on here listening, Nana from New Earth Estate. So that's it. That's really it for today. We're getting on to that 5:30 number. I want to try to keep it to, as much as possible, keep it to 30 minutes wherever I can. But if there's just important information, then I absolutely want to share it. Let me just see if I actually wrote a kind of crazy little note this morning. I just had a little piece of paper. Yeah, that's it. That's really it. I mean, much of, I know somebody was mentioning, it was just somebody I know well enough, and they say, well, Cheryl, if most people knew you, they would know you were not going on to draw attention to yourself. If most people knew me, they'd know, the attention thing, the only reason why I'm coming on here is to tell you good people, because for me, I know this stuff, I understand this stuff, I experience, I continue to do research, I do this all the time, but I'll continue to say this. I only wrote the book for the people. I done so many lectures and so many presentations on the stages of disease that it seemed to be a very valuable piece that if people could understand like I understood it. And then I thought, well, I'll do research, and then this will be more, it'll be expanding upon the only 10 minutes I would spend on in any one given presentation. But I wrote the book for the people. All Guts, All Glory was written just for the people. I didn't need to write it for myself. I mean, no, I have no desire to actually, some people say, well, Cheryl, if you look this way, and I remember the pushback with, deciding, okay, I'm just going to let my hair grow in natural. I mean, it's just all part of who I am anyway, so why wouldn't I do it? So that was just that. But definitely, I know it's good intentions. I know people mean well, and I know it's in my best interest and all of that stuff. But when it comes down to, if I had to get up in the morning and get up at 4 in the morning and then show up at some sort of studio and actually put on a ton of makeup and wear clothes I didn't like and all of that kind of stuff, I just couldn't do it. I don't want to do it. I'd rather get up in the morning, think about my thoughts, take my dog for a walk, do the Y-Dan exercise, and do some reading, some research reading. That's what I want to do. I mean, and so in this day and age, just to kind of leave you with this, is do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel happy. My teachers were saying that recently, and it makes a lot of sense. At this time, more and more, do what makes you feel happy. I doubt being unkind is making anybody feel happy. I doubt if people really ask themselves what makes them feel happy, it's going to not be in being violent. It's not going to be unkind. It's not going to be being judgmental. It's not going to be any of that, right? So why not do what makes you feel happy? And that's where the uniqueness will come in. Some people are made happy this way. Who am I to tell people what's going to make them feel happy? It's not really my place, or any of us' place, to tell people how they should live or what they should do or what they shouldn't do. At the end of the day, it's kind that people listen and they give their ear to people who only mean well and are good people and all that kind of thing. It's wonderful. So I don't not listen to people. I think they're caring enough, and they just, people want to share things and where they're at, and I'm happy to listen to the different perspectives and open that. I find it fascinating, But things continue to unfold, no question about it. So that's really all for today that I want to speak about, just to wrap it up officially. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will come on live at 5 the next opportunity if something comes up. Otherwise, I will see you Monday for sure, but I doubt I won't be coming. I'll be waiting to that, but one never knows. No links to post down below. No links. I'll continue to put humor, because I like reading them. So if I like reading them, if I don't like it, I just put it as scrap paper. I only post the ones that I like. And this is from a calendar. So just so in case you're going, where does she get all this? This was a gift from my kids. So it's a calendar, and it has. I'm only on June 24th. Not that I'm trying to play catch up or anything to kind of get to where the year is. But sometimes it's kind of really nice. You just don't get one, you got two, and you got three. It's a lot of fun. You get to read them and see which ones you like. That's mainly the only reason. So it's good. I'm only on June 24th, so I've got lots left. And my hope is that they produce one again next year, with a whole host of some new humor. But time will tell, and we'll get there. Anyway, take care, everyone. Bye for now. Enjoy a laugh today. Be calm. Come together. Stay neutral. Anything else that you can remember? Any homework? I don't know how your homework's going, but anyway, all in fun. So take care, everyone. Bye for now.